Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. Thank you for joining this call today for the third training session on the VJF tool. Today, we'll split this up into a couple parts here. So we'll begin by hearing back from you and the access that you've had to the virtual job fair tool, specifically how it's been utilized in your area for your customers and just your overall experience. Which I think will be helpful for all of us as we hear and share different ideas on how this is being marketed for our job seekers and businesses throughout the state. And so then after this, we will cover some of the ways that you can market and share with job seekers and businesses in your area. So to start off with, hearing kind of quick report from each LWIA. We'll ask to hear back on the following items, which are shared on the screen here. I think for the sake of time, we'll just limit this to a few minutes per LWIA to make sure that everyone has time to speak. And so, please report back on the number of job fairs that you've completed, number of businesses referred to, number of customers you referred to the virtual job fair tool, any success you, your customers, or your businesses have had using the job fair tool, and any additional feedback or comments. So we'll start off with the top and just go in order, sort of like a roll call. You can unmute yourself and speak to the bulleted list there shared on the screen. Do we have anyone from LWIA 1 on the call? LWIA 2? LWIA 3? How about LWIA 4?
Hi, it's Diana Schuler from 4.
Hi,
Early
Diana.
on, we referred to maybe a half a dozen. I was interested, though, if you could send out a link to any marketing outreach resources that you have, if you could send that out to us so that we can continue to promote it. We just started some outreach messages on radio, and the virtual job fairs are one of the things that for the business services that we're highlighting.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, and later on this call, there is a list. There is a page with a list of resources that you can share for the different audiences that we'll go into. But
okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. How about LWIA 5?
Hi, this is Mary Pagian from LWIA 5. Just wanted to say we haven't had any physical virtual job fairs ourselves here in the area. As far as businesses being referred, we've done at least a 10 to 12 solid referrals, and then ones that have kind of probably heard about it from other sources, but ones that we've directly reached out and referred has been about 10 to 12 of them. Customers, we've been blasting it out through our resources to our customer base, the ones that are enrolled. So we're trying to kind of push it out that way. But we're ramping up the marketing piece here and trying to get it out more to the businesses and let them know. It's kind of been as businesses have reached out with the needs, we're also telling them, okay, we can help you, but please go set up a booth. So it's been kind of, we want to do it a little bit more on a mass level moving forward here. So no direct feedback or anything to report at the moment here. So hopefully that'll change soon.
Okay, thank you, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
How about anyone from LWIA 6 on the call? LWIA 7? How about LWIA 10? 11. How about 13? 14? How about we have 15? And how about 17?
Hi, this is Terry Tincher from OEA 17.
Hi, Terry.
So, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Okay. We had a drive-through job fair with 5 businesses participating, so we had the opportunity to give them all the information. I haven't had any of them set up booths yet, but then we, probably had another handful where just businesses had reached out to us about services and we told them about it. And then yesterday I reached out to a school district actually to see if they would be interested because I'm seeing a lot of last minute school postings in the area. So I wanted to see if they could benefit, but we could do a much better job of referring customers, I suppose. So we'll be probably focusing on that now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Elwea 18? How about Elwea 19? 20? How about Elwea 21? Anyone from Elwea 22?
Hi, it's Sarah Lorio here. We have not been tracking this information, so it's hard to give you numbers. I think like some of the other areas, as businesses contact us, we have been offering that as a service that we can assist with or refer them to, but we haven't been tracking it. We've also added the information. I think we've got it on our website. I think that's one of the things we added, but we have been talking to our local chambers as well to make sure that the chamber directors are aware of this and that it's a great resource for the businesses that they're working with. So we're trying to get something put together. The marketing materials that we've already gotten from you guys, we've sent that over to them. We're in talks about figuring out if we're going to do some industry specific job fairs with workNet, but we're kind of in the planning stages on that. And then Cindy with 24, we're working on some projects together, and I'll let her talk about that.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
How about anyone from Elwea 23? And Elwea 24?
Good morning. This is Cindy Lehman from OEA 24.
Cindy.
So Sarah kind of started our conversation off, and like Sarah, we're not necessarily tracking our numbers, but we have a combined business service team that is from OEA 22 and 24. And all of our business team members are aware of the opportunity for virtual job fairs and how to get those set up, and to contact either Sarah, myself, or Lee Reese to assist with making that happen. And we've been getting the word out to chambers of commerce and other community agencies that we partner with and businesses. So that's where we're at.
Excellent. Thank you, Cindy. Anyone on the call from LWIA 25?
All right, I'm confused with payroll. All right, you out Tuesday, half a day Wednesday.
Anyone from LWIA 26? And okay, if feel free to unmute if didn't get a chance to provide some feedback from your LWIA.
Yeah, it looks like we do have a couple people on the call that did not have the opportunity to report out. So if you are on, go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know which OWIA you're in, and you can provide that report out now. And if anybody's having audio issues, you can also type in the chat how things are going in your LWIA. For the LWIAs we have heard back from, that is some fantastic news, you know, to hear. You're working with your chambers, and I know we have worked with several of you on getting some events set up or just giving some background information on how we can set these different events up. So definitely feel free to reach out to our team if you have any questions as you're looking into some different approaches your LWIA can take on getting these virtual job fairs set up. As some of you may know, those of you who may have been a little more involved in actually launching some of our virtual job fair events. The Department of Commerce is very active in this. They are always, touching base with us, wanting reports on what's happening in each of your LWIAs. We provide them weekly reports. We touch base with them a couple times a week about what's going on. We also meet with them and other state agencies such as IDES, who we have Theodore on the call with us, to host some larger virtual job fairs that are either industry-based or chamber-based, or we've been doing some legislative virtual job fairs. So there's definitely a lot of eyes on our virtual job fair tool and the work that we're all doing on these virtual job fairs. So we want to make sure that we're here to support you all in the work you're doing, and you're able to get this rolled out in your OWIA. So as we provide those reports to Commerce and the different state agencies looking at these virtual job fairs, we can be sure to highlight all the great work that you guys are doing. So that is kind of just some background on why we're asking for these different report outs, why we're continuing to keep you all engaged on the work that's going on with these virtual job fairs and the tools that have been created to support those. So we can go ahead and give everybody another minute or so just to make sure nobody else has any report outs before David moves us on with some additional resources we've put together to kind of help in your efforts of getting the word out. And I apologize, this is Olivia Miller with Southern Illinois University.
I have a question. This is Terry Tincher from LWIA 17. Are we tracking then the number of virtual job fairs that are being hosted just by businesses on their own then without utilizing the LWIAs?
Yeah, I think that would be a number we could include, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and on our end, we have a couple different tracking documents, where we can look at, virtual job fairs we've hosted, maybe individually with the businesses that are within your LWIA, and you all are referring them and getting them to us. So, that's definitely important. But we want to make sure too, if your LWIA has the needs for those larger virtual job fairs, if as some people mentioned, they were working with their chambers. Some things we are finding is that the chambers are going to the alweas and they have this need that their businesses have been coming to them about and they don't know how to fill it. And then they go to those alweas and the alweas are like, well, hey, we have just the thing for you. So, those chambers might be doing more of the leading and getting the businesses together, but you all are kind of the glue that holds everything together and gets them to where they need to be. These great tools that, Commerce has had us built for the workforce, we can now use them on a much broader scale. So, the referrals and helping with the virtual job fairs all of it is definitely great steps to getting everybody what they need. And one other topic that we have been kind of trying to focus our virtual job fairs on, as you all know, like region-based and industry-based is very beneficial for our virtual job fairs. We've had a lot of success when we're breaking out our virtual job fairs in that way. But if you have any, significant events taking place in your area, or something going on in your area where you can maybe target a virtual job fair kind of around that to help engage people, that's another great option. We're looking at doing some virtual job fairs to support Black Business Month. We're also looking at doing some virtual job fairs to help support Hispanic Heritage Month. So, anything like that that you guys are working with, definitely try to think of how could a virtual job fair fit into this to help, elevate it and support it and just give job seekers and businesses some additional resources they can use during this time.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move to the next part here for outreach resources. Let me change my screen share here. So if you're not already familiar with it, on the partner site, we have a virtual job fair guide page that has a bunch of resources that you can use to market to different businesses in your area and job seekers. So on the workNet homepage, we click this icon up here or got to the partner landing page. And under this tools, guides, and initiatives section, there is an icon for this VJF, Virtual Job Fair Guide. And this is a landing area with resources for our workforce partners and those who have access to manage the job fair dashboard. There's some information here. There's a link to log in. If there's additional staff who needs to be granted access, they can send an email to us. And under this all resources section, we have a few different icons here. This first one, partner guidance. This has a couple articles for job seekers and for employers. And these go into how the job seekers and employers can prepare for virtual job fairs. And so included on these prepare articles, we have, what job seekers can expect, how they can prepare for it, registering for job fairs that they're interested in and researching those who are hiring in advance and making sure to test their equipment and to, if there is a one-on-one meeting, either if they have their camera on or if this is a different breakout session, to dress appropriately and to have, your resume and pitch ready, and some, additional resources there. And included on here is, we have a couple of resources here, the flyer for job seekers and a PowerPoint that provides an overview of the job fair tool. And we also have a recording of the job fair tool, which the PowerPoint is related to in this YouTube video here for job seekers. And similarly, employers, we have a flyer for the employers and a PowerPoint and a recording providing a demonstration of the tool. And on this article, it's, how they can prepare for a job fair event, have an agenda in advance, be sure to provide time for your attendees if you're going to allow them to ask questions and so forth. Make sure your equipment is set up and tested and everything is the way it should be, and similar to lighting and space to make sure when they're sharing their camera and the job seekers can see them that that's appropriate as well. And then some additional resources on workNet for employers that they can refer to, including the service finder. And then we also have for similar articles for attending the event, job seekers, like what they can expect, what they should do, take notes, be professional, pay attention, along with next steps. So finish up your notes, review them, follow up with the employers. Each employer booth will have contact information that they can reach out to if they have more questions about the organization or the hiring process, and additional resources here that are on workNet. And then same for employers, what they can expect during the job fair event, and then what they can do to help get a clear message across of what their company wants, and providing that contact information and follow-up information for interested job seekers, and next steps, including following up with promising candidates. And so we have those articles there, and then back to this job fair landing page, we have partner training materials and videos. And this is the page that has the previously recorded training sessions that we've offered to the partner staff that have access to the job fair tool. And so you can go back and review previous training sessions that you may have been unable to attend, and get a link to the video to see what was covered during that presentation, that meeting. Full list of resources. Now this is the page that has several resources that you can use to market to job seekers and employers. And so under guidance, we looked at most of this already. For the individuals and job seekers, we have those two articles here, and the presentation recording of the overview for job seekers on the virtual job fair tool, and the PowerPoint that was used during that presentation. And the same goes for employers here. We have the articles here and the recording and PowerPoint there. And then these are the recordings to the previous training sessions that we've had for the partners. Instructions, this has I think this will download as a Word doc. Let me change my screen share here real quick. So this is an instructional guide for using and managing the job fair tool, in case there are questions or you wanted to refer to the process of using the job fair tool. And this walks through preparing for a virtual job fair in your area, to examples of sample outreach, social media posts, and kind of just instructions on how to manage the job fair tool and an overview of the different features in there. We also have for job seekers and employers these quick start guide pages. And these are more for getting started on Illinois WorkNet. But I think they're still useful nonetheless, no matter where the job seeker or the business is with their job search process or hiring process, in addition to having a presence in the job fair tool. And so then we also have a handout that's just a few pages on how employers can add their employer booth to the job fair tool. It's instructions that are easy to follow and just breaks it out in a concise way. And also the resume writing guide, of course, that we have on Illinois WorkNet. And then as far as outreach, we have a couple flyers. This is the flyer that we have for job seekers that provides an overview of the tool, a link to access it, getting started, connecting with employers and applying. And this is a PDF, and it can be shared via email. You can post it to your site, distribute it any way that you see fit to these audiences. And here's the employer virtual job fair flyer as well, with the link to access, and what the tool offers them, a way to connect with the job seekers. And then additionally, we have some social media posts that we've put together that you can use as guidance for your needs. In this first document here, we have links to the flyers, and we also have this first post here is a post just letting job seekers and employers know about the tool itself and what it offers both of those audiences. And when we do, you may have seen this if you're following WorkNet on social media, you may have seen some of the posts we've had announcing and reminding about upcoming virtual job fair events. And you can use this for your area as well, just kind of swapping out the bolded and italicized text with the relevant details in your area. The name, the date and time of the event, number of job openings, location, and a link to the registration page for that event. And so, this is an announcement of the event and a reminder of the event that it's later that day and that day as well. And this VJF social media plan template. And this can be used, you can modify these. These are formatted for a single employer event, but you could change them to a larger event. Kind of similar to the other one, the text that's in parentheses is the text you change. You can customize that according to the employer and the job fair event itself. If you're looking for a job in a particular industry, so-and-so is hiring on this date and time, learn more about that. And so, we have this broken out. So, these are posts to consider a few days to a week before the virtual job fair event. And then, 1 or 2 days before. A few more posts here. And then posts on the day of. do a new share here. But yeah, this full list of resources on this partner guide page for the virtual job fair tool is offers a lot of different resources that you can use for marketing to job seekers and employers. Additionally, there's a few other ways you can kind of get the word out. On workNet, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the success stories, the success story app on workNet. Let me get to that. And so success stories, share these testimonies, these narratives of a job seeker or a business, having used a program or tool within Illinois or Illinois workNet that led them to something greater, like hiring or getting certified in a particular field. And so we have added a option for, under program type, we have added virtual job fair. And this is available for both job seekers and businesses within success stories. And so when you do, come to find successes that would be appropriate for, submission through this tool, you can absolutely encourage those job seekers and employers to share that experience. Additionally, if you do have their permission, you can submit on behalf of a job seeker or an employer under this section here on success stories. And additionally, kind of going back to the social media, if you know of businesses that are hiring in your area, you can reach out to them directly about the benefits of this tool, even through social media as well. And so, after, as you do reach out to businesses, if you've not already, you can start to think about the event that you'd like to hold. And, we'll do our best to accommodate that event. We are exploring options on holding events that'll have breakout rooms and one-on-one sessions where individuals can meet with employers. So kind of due to the limited staff we have now, it does kind of make those events a bit more tricky with that one-on-one time, but we are open to holding kind of a smaller pilot session of sorts with those breakout rooms that would allow for that one-on-one interaction. And as mentioned earlier, these events can either be region-based or industry-specific. And so, an event with several employers, more than about 6 or so, this can be split up into a panel discussion where employers can talk about their organization for a few minutes, and then towards the end of the event, there can be a Q&A session. Or if you'd like, you can have an event, with a few employers up to about 5 or 6, and they can have more time to speak to their organization, available job opportunities, and so forth. We've already had a few of these larger events that have been well received by our audiences. We've had a finance industry job fair, several businesses participating, and then also a TDL, transportation, distribution, and logistics job fair for that was in LWIA 3, I believe, and these went seamlessly. They went very well. We had a lot of positive feedback from those. And so I also wanted to mention a few updates that have been made since our training session, and then we'll open it up to questions if there are any. Actually, I should say, also on this partner job fair guide, there's a section for partner tool updates. And this will list the updates that have been made, and we'll go through this, through these recent updates. The employer entry form. We now have a section for, I know it happened with, there's an issue with a couple LWIAs where the address is defaulting. If it was outside, if they entered an address that was outside of Illinois, it would default to a few different LWIAs. And so, an organization might enter where they're headquartered, and it would default to a different LWIA, even though it really shouldn't, even though they're hiring statewide. So, in events like that, we've added NA non-applicable feature for this to kind of prevent any confusion as a result of that. We've also updated on the virtual job fair landing page. We've updated the search. Before, it was just a search by the name of the employer who is hiring, but now it is by the employer name, but also by keyword. So you can enter a couple words in there, and it'll filter down to what is included in that employer booth's description. So the search will now search by the employer name and by text that's included in this employer description. And we've also updated a couple of things on the managing the dashboard. We've added an export, which when you do this will download an Excel document that offers a high-level overview of the information within your LWIA that you can quickly refer to. And let me open this up here so you can see, not that one. So yeah, you'll see who the managing user is of that booth, what the status is, the date it was submitted, the employer booth name, who that primary contact is, their email and phone number, address, zip code as well, the number of positions that are open, the industries that that organization is hiring in, the start and end date of when they would like to show their booth. If a virtual job fair has been added to their page, and you could also use this as a reference. You can see who has been participating. You can follow up with them to see if they'd like to hold another, or if they have not, you can reach out to them as well to see if they would be interested in holding an event. And with this industries column 2, you can kind of cross-reference those to see, to organize an industry-wide event, because you see that they're already interested in having a booth on workNet. You can use that as a way to kind of plan outreach to coordinate a industry or region-based job fair event. And then these additional fields here, this would be the archive recording added if the event that was recorded, if it's been posted to their employer booth page yet, and the documents and links added if they've included any of that additional information to their booth as well. And then the last thing, as far as updates go, we've updated the filters to for clarity. So we have there's just all the employer booths that would be in your area. Active, these would be booths that are approved and currently showing on the job fair landing page, which should be in this list down here. Archived, and these would be booths where someone has manually gone in and archived it, meaning it's been removed from this public view. And this would be in the case where maybe the employer is no longer hiring, or the positions have been filled, or if during that initial review, as you were reviewing it, you saw that it wasn't really appropriate for the job fair, that archive would be a way to show that you've taken action for that booth, and that it wasn't appropriate. And then expired, these would be booths whose when they enter the start and end date of when they'd like to show it, this would be when that end date has passed, or expired, and it's hidden from public view, and is no longer showing. And then needs reviewed, these are the ones that you'll see in that email if there are any job fair or employer booths that need to be approved. That'll be under here as well, where you can go in, review and approve accordingly. And so, I think I will go ahead and open it up to questions. Do we have any questions?
I've been answering some questions in the chat, David. They're really, really good questions. So I just want to make sure that everybody's kind of aware. So we had somebody asked if these virtual job fairs were recorded, and they are recorded. And what we do is after the virtual job fair has finished and the recording is done downloading, we post that back to the employer's booth so that they have those recorded virtual job fairs associated with all of their information, so job seekers can view those at a later date in the event they weren't able to attend the actual virtual job fair. That way they still have all the information needed to be able to make sure their application and resume is filled out properly, they're covering anything that the business has highlighted, and they're going through those proper application processes. I did send in the chat. If you take a look at the chat, I sent you 2 links to 2 different booths, both of which have recordings. Several of our booths do have recordings. The best way to find those is to go look at the virtual job fair event tab, which shows you all the days we have events, and then just look at past events, and then you can search those booths and they're going to have the recordings associated with them. We also had a question come in asking if we could do the events in Spanish, and that is something we can definitely assist with doing. The site has a translation feature that you can click a button and it will translate our entire site into Spanish so that our job seekers and businesses can fill out those forms in Spanish, or if they're searching, for the virtual job fairs, everything can be translated over to Spanish so they can easily search and filter down to those virtual job fair booths using the Spanish translation option. And then we had another question come in that says, who actually approves the virtual job fairs? I've been getting emails of pending ones for companies that may or may not be in our LWIA. And so, Diana, if you get any that are not within your LWIA, go ahead and send those our way, so you can send those to David. The virtual job fair booths have been set up with automated emails that anytime a virtual job fair booth is added in your LWIA, you will get an email notifying you so you can go in and approve that. Commerce would like you all to be the ones who approve any pending virtual job fairs, similar to the Service Finder tool that we have in Illinois WorkNet. We use a very similar process. So when booths are added to the Illinois WorkNet platform, you all get an email to go in and review and approve those. However, every week we have one of our staff members going in and taking a look at that. So any that are still pending at that time, we're going in, reviewing, and getting those approved so we can get those publicly available as soon as possible. That's kind of what that process looks like. I also sent you guys some additional information regarding the success stories. We've been pretty heavy on trying to gather success stories here these last couple months. We've pushed out a couple different tools recently for COVID, one of them being the virtual job fair tool, the other one being the Coursera courses that are available. Commerce, you probably have gotten some emails from them as well as us and maybe a couple different agencies that Commerce works with requesting success stories, I'm sorry. Trying to get those, added into our system, but also just collecting some overview information. We've really been working hard on trying to gather success stories to show the different ways our tools are being used to help individuals and businesses during this time. So please, please, please make sure that after you refer your job seekers or businesses to use the virtual job fair tools, you are following up with them at a later date to see how things went and providing them a link to either do a success story themselves, or if you want to work with them and get that success story put together, you as partners, David had showed you guys, can come in and add that success story for your businesses and your job seekers. These success stories are used by Commerce in a variety of ways. They often will email us asking us for specific success stories they can use for different PR opportunities. But we also go through the success stories every year and we pull out some of our best success stories to be used in the annual report. So that would highlight you guys in your LWIA. So definitely make sure you're getting those into the success story tool in Illinois WorkNet. Do we have any other questions? David, is there anything else we need to cover with everybody today?
I don't believe so. That is everything I have. If you do have any questions about the virtual job fair tool, I have shared my email in the chat. If you don't already have it, david.garvey@siu.edu. If you have questions about the tools, or you have questions about planning a larger event, you can absolutely reach out to us. We can set up a time to meet and discuss the events you're thinking about having further.
One quick question, I'm sorry for the delay. Is there any metrics as to the traffic on the website or the actual virtual job fairs themselves as to who's clicking, how many people are clicking on the links and how far they make it into the job fair for the employer booth?
Yeah, that's a great question, Sarah. We do have analytics set up for Illinois WorkNet where we can kind of drill down to see that information, see the clicks, see the paths, see the amount of time they're spending in these different booths. We do provide that information to Commerce monthly. The information can be a bit tricky to kind of filter down to an LWIA level. The way we can kind of figure that out is to see, what booths they're clicking on. I don't want to speak too much on the analytics. We have our IT staff kind of monitor that because a lot of it gets a little bit out of my wheelhouse. But we do have the ability to pull that information to help us determine, what's working, what's not working, what path are people taking that we can kind of utilize to make sure we're getting them where they need to go.
Got it. Thank you.
And we'll definitely continue to be in touch with you all. We want to continue to make sure that we're providing you information on the tools as they continue to grow and develop. As you all know, this is a very new tool, and as we figure out best practices, we are adapting our tool to be able to meet those and the work that you all are doing. So also feel free to send us any feedback you have as you engage with our tools or as your businesses and job seekers do. We want to always make sure that our tools are, up to date and as user friendly as possible. So we appreciate your time today to kind of go over things with us, and we'll definitely continue to be in touch with you all as things develop. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, a great Friday, and an awesome weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.